Machiavelli never wrote about morning routines, meditation apps, or productivity hacks. He wasn't interested in making life easier. His writings weren't about comfort. They were about survival, betrayal, power, and control. And yet, hidden in his philosophy is the sharpest lesson for our distracted age. Focus was never meant to be a hobby or a lifestyle choice. Focus was always meant to be a weapon. Most men today don't fail because they are untalented or incapable. They fail because they are scattered. They leak their energy in every direction, spread their time across meaningless obligations, dilute their purpose in endless distractions. They mistake movement for progress and effort for results. But Machiavelli understood one simple truth that has not changed in 500 years. What is dispersed becomes fragile. What is concentrated becomes unstoppable. So the real question is not, how do I become more productive? Productivity is for clerks. The real question is, how do I turn focus into domination? How do I sharpen it until it cuts through obstacles, competitors, and excuses alike? The answer begins with subtraction. Most people think focus is about adding more tools, more habits, more systems, more tricks. But that is an illusion. A strategist doesn't win by adding. He wins by cutting. He doesn't expand his army endlessly. He refines it, sharpens it, and eliminates the unnecessary. Focus begins with saying no. No to weak goals. No to useless commitments. No to the distractions that whisper for your attention. Machiavelli once wrote that rulers survive by acting like both the lion and the fox. The lion to crush threats, the fox to avoid traps. In your case, the traps are distractions, the threats are endless options. If you cannot eliminate, you cannot dominate. Once you cut, you must commit. The modern man always leaves himself an exit, a fallback plan, a backup path, a safe retreat in case things get hard. Machiavelli despised this. A ruler who prepares too many exits has already admitted defeat. The greatest victories come when there is no retreat. You choose your battlefield business, mastery, strength, empire, and then you burn the ships behind you. No excuses, no escape, no comfort zone to crawl back to. The man who denies himself Plan B has only one option left: to make Plan A work no matter what. That pressure transforms ordinary men into sharpened weapons. Pressure is where real focus is born. Comfort dulls the mind. Pressure sharpens it. Machiavelli wrote that men rarely act boldly unless forced by necessity. That is why you must create necessity. If your life is too comfortable, you will invent excuses. But when your reputation is on the line, when your resources are invested, when failure would be humiliation, your mind suddenly becomes sharper than ever before. You stop wandering, stop wasting time, stop thinking of later. Fire focuses on iron. Fear clarifies attention. The man who embraces pressure creates the very conditions that make greatness inevitable. And once necessity drives you, you must rule your time like a tyrant rules a kingdom. Most people drift through life like tourists, reacting to events, surrendering to interruptions. They live by other people's schedules. A ruler does not ask for time. He commands it. Every hour becomes a soldier in his army, disciplined, directed, and sent to fight for his mission. You must build your day with the same ruthlessness a prince builds his walls. If you do not govern your hours, your distractions will. And the man who cannot rule his minutes cannot rule his destiny. This tyranny, over time, also extends to your presence. The world today rewards those who are constantly available, always online, always responding, always explaining themselves. But Machiavelli understood that availability weakens power. Silence strengthens it. A prince who is too accessible loses respect. A man who is everywhere is valued nowhere. Learn to be silent. Learn to be absent. Learn to cultivate mystery. People should wonder what you are building, what you are thinking, where you are directing your energy. Your absence will carry more weight than their noise. The one who is not always seen is the one who is always sought. But the greatest threat to focus does not come from outside. It comes from within. Machiavelli warned rulers that the most dangerous betrayals came not from foreign armies, but from disloyal men inside the walls. In your case, the traitors are internal. Laziness, weakness, doubt, the craving for validation. These are the enemies already living inside your fortress. And just like a prince, you must deal with traitors swiftly and without mercy. You do not negotiate with weakness. You execute it. Every time a thought pulls you toward distraction, you drag it into the courtyard of your mind and cut it down. If you cannot govern your own thoughts, you will never govern anything else. This is why solitude is essential. Machiavelli wrote The Prince not in glory, but in exile, cast out, betrayed, tortured. Yet in that solitude, his mind sharpened like steel. He understood that silence is not emptiness, it is clarity. The man who cannot sit alone cannot sit on a throne. If you want to focus, you must engineer solitude hours with no noise, no screens, no interruptions. You must disappear long enough for your distractions to die and your vision to rise. When you return from solitude, the world looks different. You see strategies others miss. You notice truths others overlook. While they're drowning in noise, you are ruling in silence. But focus is not just solitude. It is also a hierarchy. Machiavelli despised equality, not because he was cruel, but because he understood nature. Not everything is equal. Some actions, some goals, some battles matter more than others. You must treat your life the same way. Not all tasks deserve your attention. Not all people deserve your energy. Create a hierarchy. Mission-critical tasks that are non-negotiable. Maintenance tasks that are secondary. And distractions that are forbidden. The weak man treats every ping, every request, every impulse as urgent. The strong man treats time like gold and spends it only where the return is exponential. And when you act, you must act with intensity, not duration. Machiavelli knew that decisive strikes at the right moment shaped history more than endless hesitation. Likewise, true focus is not about working for endless hours. It's about collapsing time, attacking with ferocity in concentrated bursts. 1 hour of ruthless intensity beats 10 hours of distracted labor. Ask yourself daily, if I had only 1 hour to change everything, what would I do? Then do that, every day, with merciless repetition. The world will not remember how many hours you worked. It will remember the results you created. But here is the final test. Anyone can focus when it is quiet, when it is peaceful, when distractions are locked away. That is training, not war. Real focus is tested under fire. When chaos surrounds you, when deadlines collapse, when insults fly, when failure whispers in your ear, that is when most men shatter. But the Machiavellian man does not bend. He remains cold, sharp, unshaken. His enemies throw fire at him, but he walks through it untouched. His allies panic, but he stays calm, calculating, ruthless. The world does not respect the man who meditates in silence. It respects the man who stays unbreakable in chaos. Train yourself to be that man. Delay your reactions. Ignore the noise. Keep building while others burn. And eventually, focus stops being something you do. It becomes something you are. First, it is discipline. It becomes a habit. Finally, it becomes identity. You're no longer trying to focus. You're focusing on yourself. People feel it when you enter the room. Your silence has weight. Your words cut sharper. Your results multiply. Power bends toward the man who radiates clarity and certainty. This is the transformation Machiavelli hinted at, the shift from discipline to identity, from routine to essence. You are not here to manage time. You are here to seize it. You are not here to stay productive. You are here to build a fortress of mind, to rule yourself so completely that nothing outside can touch you. Because in a world drowning in distraction, the man who focuses is not just stronger. He is untouchable. He is feared, respected, followed. He becomes the rarest figure of all, a man who cannot be broken, a man who cannot be moved, a man whose clarity carves his destiny into stone. And that man, in the end, does not simply win. He becomes a god among wanderers.